Our company is basically Oware Technologies. We started this company around 5 years ago, and at that point in time, we were more or less focused more on the warehousing side, the actual operations of warehousing. So we had about 20 warehouses across Pakistan, where we basically, at the same time, we were building our technology or the suite that we were going to use for our customers. And around 2 years or 3 years ago, we completely moved towards the software side, and that was again something that came up from one of our customers, Total. So if you know about Total Energies,
Mm.
they're one of the largest lubricants business across the region and across the globe. And they basically had an idea where they just wanted the WMS to integrate with their SAP, and that's where the journey for our platform started. So, and then we finalized everything and we just moved towards the software side of things. So the platform that we offer now to our customers is called O360. It's a
Mhm.
complete supply chain platform. We don't do any accounting, we don't do any HR, we don't do any other of that sort. Our solution or even our experience is more or less focused towards just supply chain. So we just focus towards that. I'm Adil. My partner is Raza. So I come from Kareem. So I worked there in Kareem for about 4 years, back in 2016 till 2019 when Kareem got acquired by Uber. And then I worked at Alibaba as well for their e-commerce operations. And my partner has about 25 years of experience in just supply chain. So he was the CFO at Maersk, and then he was the CFO at Hutchison Port. So as you can see, like bridging the gap, but we saw that a lot of operators in the region, like you said, uh, so the mid market don't have any solution,
Mm.
because if they go for an expensive solution like yours, obviously it doesn't give them the ROI. So that's where we saw that there's a gap in the market, and we developed this platform. In this process, we were lucky to be partnered with some of the institutional investors and partners across the globe. So, if you know about Flexport, which is one of the largest supply chain technology companies globally, have invested in us, and then we have partners from Hong Kong, USA, China, Europe, so all across the globe. Uh, we've been lucky enough that our technology has been mentioned in some of the leading publications across the globe, so including TechCrunch, Forbes, and then since I'm from Pakistan, so Dawn is one of the leading premier publications in Pakistan. So the one that people know the most is more appealing to you
Mm.
because people would know what Dawn is. So I was actually very honored to be featured here in my own home country. So like I said, combining experience from two like technology and supply chain, we started this company. So my partner has led one of the like largest implementations for SAP in both Maersk and then Berk as well. So Berk is one of the largest distribution companies in Pakistan, and I worked at Kareem, so leading numerous projects like Kareem Box, Kareem Foods, and at Daraz as well. So Daraz is basically the Lazada version or the Souk version of Amazon. So it was
Mm.
basically acquired by Alibaba, and then we worked for Alibaba later on. So right now we have regional presence across the globe. So like I think you must be working in a similar fashion where you have software partners across different regions. So
Mhm.
we have partners in different markets. So we have a partner in Saudi Arabia. I think you would know about Numan Ali. So
Yeah.
Numan Ali is already one of our partners in the region. But then we also have partners across in different markets like Singapore, Nairobi, Cairo. So this is for any software company. Obviously, you cannot go to each country to implement. So we depend on these partners a lot. But then we have physical presence in 3 countries. So we have an office in Dubai, we have an office in obviously Karachi, and then we also have an office in USA and New York. And this is one of the like we're trying to engage with more people in other countries as well to expand our footprint across the globe.
Question, Adil. So you
Yeah.
have an office in Dubai. So for the projects in UAE, you're implementing directly with your own team.
So for all partners,
Yeah.
we do all the implementations ourselves. So
Okay.
right now, our partners are mostly just focused on the sales and marketing side, because we want to make sure that we lead the experience for our product. So we have a implementation team.
Okay.
So we have a customer support team that provides online implementations. But then if there is a requirement, for example, one project we're doing in Saudi, so we
Mm.
send a dedicated project manager for that implementation if that the budget allows for that person. So we're doing a very big project in Saudi as well. So, but right now we don't have any partnership where we uh, outsource our implementation to anyone else.
But
So,
your implementations are done mostly remotely.
yeah, most of them are remotely.
Okay, so you don't necessarily need to be on the
Yeah,
customer side.
yeah,
So
yeah.
Abdul you're doing it remotely as an example.
Yeah, Abdul Latif Jameel, we're doing remotely, but for example, there's another customer in Saudi, a very large customer. For that, we have a team over there that we have
Yeah.
hired.
Okay.
But right now, we don't have any contract where we have outsourced implementation to any other partner in the region.
Okay.
So they're mostly responsible for brand development, lead generation, marketing, contracts, negotiation, and that's it. We take over the after sales and sale to the implementation part ourselves. So coming to the platform, uh, so I think one of the key areas where we focus a lot is in the UI of our platform, because when we look at other softwares, although they're very detailed, very granular, but normally what we see that if you look at the region entirely, the resources that are actually using the software, whether it's a warehouse manager, a warehouse executive, a production associate, they're not necessarily very equipped to use a very complicated software. So that's where we focus more of our strengths on the user interface. So our key objective is to make everything very easy to use, click-based, intuitive. You create an order, the order details fetch themselves. So everything is based on that fundamental rule that everything has to be simple.
Mm.
And then the next thing is scalability. We don't go and say, okay, you get the license for $100,000 at once, or you do the entire implementation once. We charge on a very modular basis. So we say, okay, start with one location, then you add more. So we don't price normally on users, we do it on modules and warehouse wise. So that basically allows a organization to instantly test our software to see if it's providing ROI. So, for example, most of the implementations that we do start with just one warehouse, and then they scale to other warehouses, because that gives them the chance to basically see the ROI or see the action in a very short span of time. And then obviously, since I say we are very cost effective in terms of the pricing that we offer in the modular approach, normally our ROI or the pricing of the entire project compared to other softwares is less than 40%. So I'm not going to compare myself to, let's say, Odoo or any other software. I
Mm.
would rather compare myself to SAP supply chain
Mm.
or or Oracle supply chain. So here the main thing that to notice is the gap in the market. So the gap is basically that all of these companies would go for a tier one ERP for finance.
Yeah.
And but when it comes to supply chain, the licensing cost for SAP is $2,400 per user, and then you need extra implementation. So that does not provide the ROI. So that's where we come in. We say we plug in with your ERP. For supply chain, you use O360 and you get all the data synced back to your ERP. So that's where, if you look at the combination, we become very flexible. And I think the last important point is that our platform is based on open APIs. So it's very easy for us to integrate with other softwares. We've done these integrations already with Oracle, Microsoft, SAP, QuickBooks, and then, for example, internal systems. So for some APIs, for example, customers that use our TMS want to integrate with tracker companies. So, for example, in Saudi, we already did the integration with Injaz, Zatka. So all of that is very easy to do for us because the entire platform is cloud-based and then also based on open APIs. And we have a separate team that deals with integration
And where do you host it,
itself.
Adil?
Yeah.
Where's the software hosted? Is it in UAE or somewhere?
So we have multiple locations. So we have an environment where one in Singapore, in US,
Okay.
in Pakistan. Then we have one in UAE, and for one customer, we have in Saudi as well. So we have one instance which is the multi-tenant organization. So it's basically a shared database. So obviously, it becomes very cheap for organizations to go for that. But then there are enterprises that care about data security and they want to
Yeah.
have their own separate environment. So then we dedicate an entire server for them. That depends on their requirement. For example, so if we normally use AWS, but since
Yeah.
AWS is not available in Saudi, so Saudi customers want a server in Saudi. So then we go for Google Cloud.
Okay.
So like I said, it's cloud based. So it's very easy for us to deploy in multiple different environments across. So it really depends on the customer. Let's say if it's a customer and if it's a very traditional customer that does not have their own IT team, they don't know anything about software. They're just a manufacturing business or a warehousing business, and they don't have any exposure to technology. So that we just tell them that don't get into this technicality. You go with the multi-tenant setup. We will take care of everything, and you don't have to pay a lot for cloud as well. So that becomes very easy for the customer. But for example, with Abdul Latif Jameel, it's a very large organization. They have a huge IT team. They have their own infrastructure, and for that case, we tend to have separate instances in sync with their IT team. So that really depends on the customer type and the profile that we go for.
And
But mostly, yeah.
can you do it on premise? Like if a customer has very strict rules and wants it on their own infrastructure, or is it only cloud based as an option?
Uh, for in-premise, it still has to be a cloud-based on-premise infrastructure,
Okay.
but we discourage it unless like the customer is going to pay for the maintenance, the customer is willing to pay for the upgrades. He has to have a dedicated IT person from our side because we are using a lot of APIs.
Hmm.
So it has to be always like 24 hours, it has to be connected to the internet. So it really depends on that. We have one customer that we are doing on premises, but that customer is one of the largest textile companies in Pakistan. So they're
Okay.
the fifth largest Amazon seller in the world, actually. So, but because of that scope, so they're processing about 5 million SKUs. So obviously their requirements are very different compared to the rest of the customers that we have. But like I said, since we control it, but obviously we'll share the cost with you, like obviously the cost of managing maintenance, upgrades. And we also tell the customer that even if you keep it on cloud, it'll be better because uh, it's more secure. The update part is very easy, but for on-premise, obviously the updating part will be very difficult and a little costly, in my opinion. So I think it really depends on the customer.
Okay, and just one last question, Adil,
Yeah,
before you
yeah,
continue, please. So you mentioned on the pricing wise, you generally benchmark against SAP and Oracle at around 40% plus, let's say, cheaper. So
yeah.
for us, for example, when we do our big automation robotics projects where there is a WMS for the automation, it takes months. So usually we have two fees, one, let's say, upfront project fee and then a monthly subscription fee. Do you also charge upfront fee, or do you start with a subscription straight away? Is that how you make it a bit more easier to measure the ROI?
Yeah, so we have the simple pricing model where we start with the subscription right away. We
Okay.
have a tiered subscription plan, but obviously that's for the multi-tenant customers or customers that just want to go ahead very quickly. But
Yeah.
if a client comes in like Abdul Latif Jameel or let's say the Utopia, the company I talked about, because that's enterprise scale. So we have to charge them separately. So we give them an implementation cost separately and the licensing cost separately for that.
Okay, so SMEs, maybe it's a multi
Yeah,
you set it up quickly,
yeah, yeah,
customization, and then the others have a bit more.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, fair.
Yeah. So I think this is one of the basic things that we tell our customers that we are already integrated with SAP. So the number one questions that comes to us is that why don't we use the WMS by SAP or why don't we use WMS by Oracle or the supply chain module? So I think that's where we need spend a lot of effort in telling the customers that normally when you go and talk to an SAP user, they're only using the FICO module, which is the finance and accounting module by SAP. And although that shows inventory balances and locations, but it's not an actual WMS.
Yeah.
And that's where the confusion comes in. So we have to guide the customer and then we tell them that we are actually the system or the operating system for your supply chain teams. Because normally what's happening is data entry is happening from the ground. So people, warehouse managers manage the inventory in Excel and then send it to the head office or the SAP guy, which basically does the data entry. So what we've done is we tell the customers that you use SAP for your reporting or for let's say your ledgers or your inventory balances, but you use our software for all the operations, whether that's an inbound, outbound, GRN, GDN, picking, putaway, assigning a vehicle, assigning a dock, transportation, all of that. And we all sync that information to your SAP. So it basically becomes one solution where everything is synced together. And like I said, most of our customers that we are working with are using either SAP or Oracle. And that's one of the main key areas that we see. So we've already built standard integration workflows. So, for example, we're doing a deal again in Saudi, which is a very large player of mattresses in Saudi Arabia, and they are using Dynamics. So we've mapped completely, and it was very easy to map the entire integration flow with them because we had the documents ready on what to do. So our OPI, our API document is already available for the teams to use. So I think this is one area where we edge. So there's no complex integration workflow where two teams will sit for 1 month, 2 months, and figure out what APIs need to be connected. So I think this is where we spend a lot of time with the customer as well.
So
Uh,
on
yeah.
SAP, so you mentioned the accounting and finance module, but correct me if I'm wrong. What I understood from some customer engagements is that SAP S/4HANA, it has a similar to EWM. So it's not just for the accounting, it's more basic WMS, but it has
Yeah.
like some features like VAS and so on. But it does have some sort of WMS features where you can scan and manage and move and so on. So how do you compare yourself to that module, not the full EWM, but the warehouse management, the same module that
Yeah, so S/4HANA has a WMS, but then what it lacks is the complete workflow of the picking putaway,
mm,
the algorithm of picking, the FIFO principle. So that basically is not there. And then secondly, the scanning devices are very expensive. So if you go for QR code generation, so that technology you have to that very expensive if you get that from SAP itself. It's not very cheap.
the charges
So
for
yeah,
version.
yeah, yeah. So that's where I think that's where it makes sense for us to go. And then again, in terms of reporting, obviously we are more in depth, we are more hands on in terms of the reporting part as
Yeah,
well. And then it's not just the licensing cost, Anas, it's the implementation cost as
yeah,
well.
of course.
So if you go to an SAP partner, obviously they've spent so much money on the licenses, buying those licenses, they would want to recoup it in a very exorbitant implementation timeline. So mostly what we see is, and there's a fact that not just in the region but globally, a lot of S4 implementations have not been completed.
Mm-hmm.
So this is one area where we are very quick to provide an ROI. So I'll give you a real life example. There's a customer called Santex in Pakistan. They're one of the largest developers of hygiene products. They are upgrading to S4 HANA, and their warehouse team came to us and said, "Yeah, this is going to take about 2 years, and our boss is telling us that we need reporting right now." So in the same time, we have done the implementation in 3 months. Everything is live, and the S4 project is still being completed. So I think, like you said, yes, obviously, yes, I will not say that my software is going to be better than SAP or more rigid, but I think what we are good at is the flexibility and the ROI that we can provide immediately. So that's where most of our customers, obviously, we are able to provide quick wins to them as well. And I think just to give you a complete overview, so the core platform that we provide or the foundational module that we provide is O360. And whether you go with the warehousing, transportation, or manufacturing, O360 is the core OS or the operating platform where we are able to provide you with a visibility dashboard. So we have a feature called unified order management, where all your orders across the network, whether they are inbound, outbound, sales, purchase, transfer, sales, returns, come to you in a very unified way
Mm-hmm.
with the next action item that you need to process for that order. Then we have a control tower. So what we've done is instead of viewing supply chain data in like list or table form, we provide a visual complete overview of or a visual snapshot of the entire supply chain on what's happening in real time, what orders are happening, what locations are active, and kind of like a visual map view of your entire supply chain. And then obviously we are very quick in providing customizable dashboards. So obviously we have like about 50 reports that we already have incorporated in the last 3 years from our customers. But then whenever a customer comes to us, we give them custom reports. We tell them just share an Excel template with us and we'll create that report. So that's very easy to do as well. The second thing that you won't find in a lot of solutions is the collaboration module. So
Mm.
collaboration module is basically on an order level. So normally supply chain teams are just used to speaking on WhatsApp, phone. So all of that qualitative information is left on the WhatsApp groups. So let's say 6 months down the road, you want to do an order, like what happened. Maybe there was a breakdown or some qualitative aspect of the order that you wanted to track. So you would find that in our collaboration module. So it's like it's basically like WhatsApp on an order. So all team members can chat with each other. They can share documents with each other, and then they can upload ad hoc expenses. Like for example, I incurred extra cost for hiring third party labor.
Mm.
I had to basically pay for this breakage. So all of those costs can be come here as well. And the third aspect is obviously AI is the buzzword. We haven't done anything in it except for just connecting ChatGPT with the database, which is very powerful. If you have the right data in the platform, obviously you can just prompt and then get results based on that. And we are also refining it more and more. Obviously, the cost. A lot of customers right now, when we speak about supply chain, there are very few customers that adopt to this. But I think I'll be happy to work with you if you have any use cases
Mm.
for AI on this. So this is the core module. So whether you take stock 360, transit, anything, you would get all these features because this is the foundation of the platform. Then we have warehousing module, which is called Stock 360. We have the transit module, which is called for shipment planning and tracking. And just to add in here, we don't just do land shipments, we also do air and sea shipments as well. So
Okay.
whether you create a shipment through land, you can if you're importing products, you can track containers, you can track the BL number, you can track the journey status of that container through our platform. And then for manufacturing, we have complete manufacturing module with multiple stages. So whether one bomb has multiple routes, multiple resource cost, ingredients, all of that is already available in the platform. Uh,
Question Adil,
yeah,
on the AI part. So you're using APIs with ChatGPT
yeah,
and feeding it the databases, so it's you have a full conversational, let's say,
yeah.
ability to say where is my product, so and so, how many of this kind of SKU do I have left. So is it just informational, or can it also give direction? Can you say transfer this pallet from so and so, and it creates the task in the system as well?
So to be very honest, now we can do that
Okay.
because when we started this, now, as you can see, AI is also evolving every day.
Right.
So now it has context to create orders as well. But we have not done this project for any customer yet.
Yeah.
If there's a use case, we can do the demo. If there's a customer, because the database is already there. So we have done one experiment as well. But obviously the cost side of it has to be taken care of as well,
Yeah.
because generally customers don't see the cost of AI. So the database cost is huge.
Yeah.
The memory cost is huge.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that has to be taken care of. So we're open to be very honest. I won't say this is like a very good feature
Yeah.
or a very fully developed feature. We're still working on
Yeah.
this and experimenting on how we can go about it.
Good to know.
So these are the modules. So just to focus on the WMS side, we have complete bin and aisle and bay management, automated picking and putaways, palletization, complete detail inventory reports, including expiry alerts, low stock alerts, near expiry alerts. We have integration with scanners like Honeywell, Zebra. So any Android-based scanners that you use. So we have a web app and we have a mobile app as well. So the
Mm.
mobile app is called O Stock, and that's only for the floor operators
Yeah.
that can scan the QR codes, that can scan the QR codes on the cartons or the products, the locations, and do the picking, putaways, cycle counts, stock movements directly from the app. And that data is then synced to the web app. Or and then we in the WMS we're able to completely map all the points of a warehouse, racked, grounded, temporary storage, whether that rack has multi-height, double deep racking, all of that can come in. And then we have bin categories as well. So we can define certain categories like hazardous, fast moving, slow moving, and then the putaway will depend on that category as well. So all the standard features that are required for a comprehensive WMS, we already have that. Transit is more of a very innovative module where we are not just doing basic live tracking of the vehicle. We are going in detail and managing the journey, and then also the and it's linked directly to your inventory. So a customer that comes to us with basic inventory management, he expands to WMS, and then wants shipments as well. So all of the workflow is it basically follows a seamless workflow. It's not like we have a separate TMS solution or a separate WMS solution. They come in a one workflow, and we obviously have feature gating so we can turn and off and on and off the workflow that is required for that customer.
So it's one platform, both of these.
Yeah.
Okay. And the stock 360, it's a comprehensive WMS solution, or do you have add-on modules, or is it just if you have the stock 360, you have all the features?
We have all the features for the stock 360
Okay.
module. Let me just open it up.
Yeah, if we can see at some point just a quick
Yeah.
look as well, it would be nice to see the UI.
Yeah, yeah. And then we recently done manufacturing as well. I'm opening the platform as well. So
Okay.
just skip to the end. These are some of the screenshots. I'll take you to the live demo as well.
Yeah, please.
Yeah. So these are some of the customers that we're already deployed with. So for example, like I said, so there are two types of customers that we work with. One is a 3PL business. So
Mhm.
one's basically a customer that manages operations for other is a services business. So for example, a 3PL who has inventory tagged to a customer.
Yeah.
So all different customers will have their product masters. And then we have one customer that's a principal business. So let's say a manufacturer, a trader, a company that's trading its own products or buying, selling products. So there are two types of customers that we generally work with. So these are some of the customers who are doing some of different solutions from us. I'll skip to the platform directly.
And the question on the 3PL side, can you manage multiple stock owners for the same 3PL company in the same warehouse
Yeah,
differently?
yeah, yeah.
With different rules.
You can have different configurations for them.
And can you do invoicing as well based
Yeah.
on CBM or okay?
Yeah, yeah, we can. But one fact that we learned in the region is that we developed the feature, but a lot of people just want custom pricing
Mm,
because they're just doing the standard pricing with the customers or adding something on top. So they don't follow the convention of CBN or doing a lot of adjustments. And same for the TMS as well. So you can do automated invoicing. So whenever you close the shipment, you attach the POD, you can create the
mm.
automatic invoicing directly from them. So this is the control tower. As you can see, this is the main screen that opens up where you can see directly what's happening in your supply chain, how many active shipments do you have. And once you click on the shipment, you can directly see that this is the location and you have like the sales order, this is the customer, what is the estimated time. All of that is visible here. Uh, then we have exception screen where you can see like if there was a stock condition change, whether an order was canceled. It's a calendar view where you can see, okay, on Monday I have two shipments. If I go back and have more orders, so
Is that
basically
or
it,
outbound?
it, it tells me like, okay, on Tuesday I have two, three shipments. So it's like a complete managers or a CEO screen where they want to have an overview of their entire supply chain directly. Then we have the conversations here directly as well. So you can see these are based on an order level. So for example, SO0030, I can
Mm.
see the chat. I can see what's happening in this chat. I can see, okay, what's the update? I can again tag users like WhatsApp, like, okay, what's happening? This is the answer. And this will be tagged to that order. Further, what I can do is I can attach cost here. So I can like I paid labor charges for this shipment. This was my cost. This was the supplier, like let's say it was FedEx, and I want to mark it as billable, or I can select the supplier and I can attach the pictures directly here. Let's say I select FedEx, and I can add the expense. So this cost will go into the landed cost of this order directly. So this is the basically the entire order, like the conversational module. If I go to order management, so these are all my orders happening in real time. I can filter on multiple things. So it's telling me my order ID. So PO 007 is a purchase order. SO00307 is a sales order. I can do filters, quick filters here, or I have detailed filters here. So I can mark on status like, okay, it's partially complete. Is it in progress? Is it in pending? Is the put away in progress or is the picking in progress? I can filter based on SKU, type, status, supplier, warehouse, external nodes. And then our system also has role-based access control. So if a user does not have that role or does not have access to that warehouse, you will not be able to see the SKUs or the inventory locations or the inventory data for that warehouse. Then we also have like you can go in the order. You can see this is the shipment. Shipment is created. You have to assign a doc to over here. You can receive inventory. So you can directly scan from here. You can use the mobile app or you can add. So we track products by batch. So you can write test batch. You can set the expiry date. Let's say you received 50. You can save changes. And then you can add multiple products here as well. And it's giving you a summary of what's been received up till now. You can save it or you can generate the GRN. So if I go ahead, these are the two GRNs that have been generated. So this screen will give me my entire overview of the order.
Mhm.
It's not loading yet.
And if you receive ASNs, you would already have all the information preloaded.
Yeah, it's already here. So it's telling me that, okay, the order quantity was 1,000 cartons. I received 1,000 cartons. Remaining is zero. I can also track my quantity in primary and secondary. So like 1,000 carton is 1,000 pairs. Then I can have my activity log when the shipment was created, when the order was created, when the GRN was done, when was the doc assigned. So all of these timestamps I can see as well. And then one order can have multiple ASNs, like you said, and I can see the GRN directly from here as well. So this is my GRN.
Mhm.
And I can print it directly from here as well. So I can print the copies directly as well. So I can say, do I want a consolidated copy? Like I don't want batch detail, or if I want batch details, then I can print it directly as well.
And then in the background, is there tasks created to put away these?
Yeah. The put away task is already created in the app.
And
Then we can reverse the transaction here as well. So if I go here, these are all the tasks, the warehouse tasks that have been created or assigned. So stock issuance, put away, picking, all of that basically comes here. Let's say if I want to generate a picking task, I can come here. I can say, okay, I want to do finished good warehouse. It'll show me the open orders for that warehouse. I can just click two of them and I can do start picking. So doesn't have any SKUs. Okay, good. Let me change the instance. So just take a second.
yeah, sure.
So let's say if I want to go to picking, start picking. Internet is not working. Live environment. So it's going to tell me all the locations this product is available at. And I can do auto pick. So auto pick follows an algorithm. So it basically checks whether if you're following FIFO, so it selects the batch that is going to be expired first. And then it after that it checks the location. So obviously it's going to the nearest aisle first. So whatever picking pattern it's going to create is based on that. So you can do auto pick or you can customize this. So let's say if I do auto pick, so it's already selected that, okay, this staging area will go first and this 14 will go first. And for the rest of the SKUs, it's also picked the quantity. What I can do is I can complete the picking here, or I can create picking and assign it to a user or a floor operator in my warehouse. And that user will basically use the app
Okay.
uh, and then do the complete picking and put away from there
And
on.
do you have to manually launch the orders and do the assignment, or can you make it kind of automated where the system would by itself every once in
We can. We have done that actually, but normally, to be very honest, most of our customers are very selective in selecting the batch that goes to their customer.
a while?
So if we go over the auto logic, so auto logic, we can trigger it automatically that whenever the sales order is created, you reserve the inventory directly.
Yeah.
And but most of our customers are very picky in that. So that trigger can be automated as well. But again, most of our use cases that the customers that we're working with generally prefer that they do the auto pick, but then they make sure that they select the batches that they want as well. And then if you go to inventory management, then we have a lot of features here as well. So if I go here, so we obviously we can upload the product image, the code, the warehouse, brand, category, type of product, whether it's a finished good, a raw material, a semi-finished good, the total quantity of cartons that is there, the secondary quantity, how much is available, how much is on hold. So you can mark inventory on hold as well. How much is in transit. So, for example, if you're receiving a transfer order or a PO purchase order, then you can see how much inventory is in transit. Reserved is basically whether if it's assigned to a certain order. Damage. So if you have damaged inventory, you can see the damaged as well. And then ordered. So if you have pending orders against it, you can see the order quantity here as well. And then here you can see that it's telling me a flag that 27 pieces have expired. I can go in and see the exact batch. So it's telling me that, okay, this batch is on staging area, but this batch on this location has expired. And it's telling me how much quantity has expired. Again, I can do multiple things like I can do the stock adjustment, I can do the stock condition change, section relocation, release or hold. So this is the usable inventory that can be used, but then we have damaged as well. So you can track damaged inventory separately. And then we have the inventory history as well. So it's like a ledger where you can see all the plus minus transactions. So when the order was inbounded, how much was the quantity minus. So you can see the entire history of the plus minus and all the actions, who was the user, the date over here directly. If I go back here, okay.
Can you do QC on the inbound?
Yeah, so you can mark them as damaged.
Okay, and then manually someone would have to go check and
Yeah, yeah.
man.
So whenever you do the receiving, you tell the GRN, you tell it how much can be used, how much is damaged. So that inventory will then go to the damaged area and will be marked in the damaged side. So I'm just looking for the damaged inventory. If there is any damaged inventory here. So there's no damaged inventory right now. A- And here you can see the reserved as well. So you can see that 110 is reserved, and I can see the orders against which is so pick. This is the picking ID and the order ID against which this quantity is reserved here as well. So all of that is available here as well. So this is like again we have stock adjustments. You can create stock adjustments. You can create stock movements. Then we have our reporting. So this is again standard. Most of the reports are basically reports that customers have created. Go to the warehouse summary or the aging report. So like this report, you can run it directly here. Then we have another called the warehouse summary. So it's more of like a dashboard. of what the utilization is looking right, whether it's underutilized, what is the overall overview of the entire inventory. And then we have, if I go here, so here I can completely configure my warehouse with the aisles, the bays, bins, docks. And if I want, I can select what type of, what's the bin name, whether it's a racked, a bin category. If I want to dedicate a customer against it, I can dedicate a customer against this. The aisle bay classification, whether it follows A, B, or C, coordinates as well. So people who want like to use this data on Power BI, if they
Mm.
use coordinates, then they can basically create a map as well. I think that's where you can come in, whether if you have an automated system and you want data, master data from our side, we can export this data to you as well.
Can you manage specific bin dimensions like length, width, height to know what can be stored and what cannot fit, for example?
Yeah, we can do it by customer category, but we basically do take the square feet and we take the maximum pellets that can store.
Okay.
So we basically map it on two levels right now. Then we can manage docs as well. So all of this is already here. You can do group actions. So let's say if you want to hold a certain bay, you can directly edit the bay and mark the category, whether it's cold storage, fast moving, general storage, or if you want, you can create your own custom categories as well. So you can have your own defined categories is here as well. Then I'll go to the product master. So it's a very detailed product master. Go here. So if I go into add product, we can define item by name, code, product prefix, whether it's a raw material, finished good, category, brand, production type, barcode, HS code, stock tolerance percentage. This is something that mostly customers who are ruling in weight and volume. So let's say they order 1,000 kg, but they can receive 1,005 kg. So this
Mhm.
happens normally for products that have that. Units per pellet, so the UPP, primary, secondary, product picture. And let's say if they say I want to track shipping and inventory details, then we can go here. The dimensions, volume and weight, bin category, maximum, minimum and maximum order point, reorder points, shelf life, product life. So all of these features can basically help with taking actions on the platform or providing some type of reports to the customer. Uh,
Yeah.
then we generate our own QR codes. So you can generate QR codes directly from here. You can select the customer, the product, match number, and you can generate the QR code, give it to the printer, or stick it on the product or the carton itself. You can have pellet IDs as well. So you can manage pellet IDs. You can generate pellet IDs, and then you can view uh, the entire scope for it. So let me, if I go here, let me share my entire screen first. So the print view. So you can see you can generate the pellet ID from here as well. Then we have user masters. So users, again, role-based access control. So you can create a user, you can assign a role like warehouse executive, super admin. So here I can have different roles as well. And for example, I have a super admin, I have a warehouse executive, I have a warehouse supervisor. And for each role, you can either select the warehouse access they would have access to.
Mhm.
Can you see the screen?
It's stuck, I think, right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to figure out. Stuck. 1 second. Can you see the screen?
Yeah.
So, like again, you can select the roles here. So you can have different roles, like warehouse supervisor, executive, super admin, and then you can go to users. And for each user, you can define which warehouse they have access to. You can select each permission as well. So what action can they read, create, write, update? So all of that you can define individually as well or on a role basis as well.
Can you view activity history per user, what they moved, what they did, or kind of like KPIs, for example?
Yeah, so for that, we already have a ledger. So every action or every report, like I said, already has a user action associated with it. So on every screen, you will see, let's say, if I go here, it will tell me who the user is. So order created by Muhammad Wasim,
Mhm.
shipment was created. So all of those logs are already in the system. If I go into my inventory, let's go here. Let's select this. So let's say whenever I open the ledger, I will always see who the action was, who was the users. For each transaction, I will know who the user is, and the logs are being maintained on that user. But we can set up KPIs as well. We can set a report for all the actions. But if there's a specific report, that can be. But none of our customers have asked us that
Yeah.
yet. But that can be done. I guess that can be done. So again, I think there's a lot more into this as well. The put away, the picking, the app side. Let me, if I have a video of the app, I'll share the video of the app with you because that
Mhm.
works on
But
Android. Let me go back here. So, so I think this is one project that we did with Total. So with Total, obviously they had about six warehouses, very large warehouses in their network. Everything was being done manually. They were using S4 HANA, but they didn't have a proper WMS. They
mm,
didn't have a part. They didn't have QR codes. They didn't have location tagging, anything in the system. That's where we came in and we provided. So from their blending plant where the engine oil is manufactured and put into the bottle, a QR code is basically stuck on their cartons, and from there on, it goes to their main warehouse. And then they have six different warehouses in different cities. So everything is done to through QR code scanning, QR coding, and then till their distributor they have visibility. So even if you go to a Total pump and you see a QR code on the carton, that's basically the QR code that's being printed on our from our software across the region. So that's already there. Then we did one project with I didn't show you the TMS if I can see. So there's TMS and
yeah.
manufacturing as well. So if you have like if you're interested, then we can have a follow-up session as
Yeah.
well with my team. So we have a TMS. So this is one customer in Canada that basically does seafood export to so it's based in Vancouver, and they export seafood to Dubai, Vietnam, and they have sales teams that are sitting in multiple parts of the world. So they don't have any collaborative platform where they can track the order status, the status of what when the order is arriving, the location of the plane, because they mostly sell seafood through airplanes because obviously it has very low shelf life. So they and their teams are sitting in different time zones as well. So previously they were just using a Google Sheet to track everything, but now
Yeah.
they use a platform which is obviously has triggers and event based statuses. And now basically they use the collaboration module, the transit module, and the shipment module directly to manage all of their orders across their supply chain. Uh, this is one use type. So I think, like I told you, I'm Adil. My background is from technology. So I've worked in technology for the last 10 years at least. And my partner is mainly in supply chain. I think the way that we mostly work with is we're very hands-on directly with customers. We're
Okay.
not in that very rigid way. But like I said, we have a pricing model that basically depends on. So I'll open the pricing model as well. If you just give me 1 second.
Yeah, sure.
Can you see the screen?
Yes, if you could zoom tiny bit, that would be a bit helpful.
Yeah. Boom. So I think how we basically price is that we have three tiers per customer. So we have a seed, growth, and harvest, and it's basically three different plans for three different sizes of customers. So we prefer like the basic plan, we provide about 1,200 orders per month, up to 5 users. We provide these features, and then for each module, which is it is a separate add-on. So let's say stock 360 per warehouse is this much, transit 360 per warehouse is this much. And each plan has certain implementation support hours that we provide as well. So for example, the basic has 20, the growth has 50, and the harvest has about 100 hours that we provide. And then we have the tiered cost, for example, like $500, 1,500, and then $5,000 based on the tier of the user.
So
And
it's
then for
600 for all 5 users, right? Not per
Yeah,
user.
yeah.
Okay.
No, not per user. For all 5 users, but then if you want, let's say you just want the 1,200 users, you just want the seed package, but you want 6 users. So then for that, just $25 per month additional.
Ah,
So this is basically our standard pricing model for our multi-tenancy, where you just want to go ahead very quickly. Uh, Here we will provide you with our online implementation. But let's say you want a very customized enterprise level package with integrations, with customization, then obviously that depends on a case to case basis for each customer. So, so obviously that really depends on the ask of the customer as well.
so when you say implementation support, so in that previous page, the customer, he takes on the responsibility of configuring and setting up, and you
No,
can
no,
support.
we do the configurations. So we help with the master data. We help
Yeah.
with preparing the master data. We upload the master data as well, and then we hand over the project directly to them. So it's basically available online. Our team is there, so we appoint a dedicated. So it really depends uh, on the nature. So for some companies, we have dedicated account managers. Some only like we as soon as we're implementing, so obviously we are working with them very closely. So we help with them with master data. We upload them, we configure the system, and then we also have like air-round support as well. So let's say if you face any issues
Mm.
after the product has been implemented, then we have an SLA for that as well. So like 48 hours for seed, 6 hours. So all of those SLAs are also there
Okay,
for the customers.
but those 100 hours, for example, in the harvest for the implementation support, this is how much it will take you to do the master
Yeah,
data
yeah,
configuration.
exactly, exactly.
And then if they need any extra work later, then you'll charge them up
Yeah,
to 25.
yeah, 20. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, okay, makes sense.
So it's basically very scalable and flexible in that sense to address a very small customer who just wants basic inventory management to a very enterprise level customer who wants to scale in the future as well. This in this way, we also get protected because it's flexible and tied to a KPI rather than just deploying it one time.
Yeah.
And then so it helps us with providing the ROI as well. And then as the customer starts expanding its business, and obviously our billing grows with that customer as well. So this is basically like a brief overview of the company. If you have any questions, uh, I'll be happy to answer. I just have to jump to another meeting in
Yeah,
5 minutes. So yeah.